What you're about to watch is Joe Biden get into a heated exchange with the Detroit auto worker about his stance on the Second Amendment, after the auto worker tells Joe that he's actively trying to diminish our Second Amendment right and take away our guns.
You are actively trying to diminish your Second Amendment right and take away our guns.
You're full of shit. Now, shush. Shush. I support the Second Amendment. The Second Amendment, just like right now, if you yell fire, that's not free speech. From the very beginning, I have a shotgun, I have a 20 gauge, a 12 gauge, my son's hunt. Guess what? You're not allowed to own any weapon. I'm not taking your gun away at all. You need 100 rounds.
So when you were with Beto and you said you're going to take our guns,
I did not say that. That's not. I did not say that.
Video.
It's a viral video like the other ones they're putting out that are simply a lie.
Your voice, you said that you're taking the guns.
Oh,
he just clarified it.
Wait. Take your AR-14s and what?
Okay, this is not okay.
Hold on. Hey, let's
Don't
get
tell me all this, pal.
There's a lot of guys. Want to.
I'm not working.
Thanks so much.
Give me a break,
so
man.
much.
Don't be such a
You're
worry
pushing up
guy.
on me.
Hey, there's a lot of.
Look, here's the deal.
Go ahead, go.
Here's the deal. Are you able to own a machine gun?
I own a machine
I
gun.
said, are you able to own one?
Machine guns are illegal.
That's right. So AR-15's illegal.
How is that in a machine gun?
No, it's not.
Semi-automatic.
Yeah, do you need 100 rounds? Do you need 100 rounds?
In America with handguns than there are what you call assault rifles. Why are you advocating for assault rifles when people are buying a handgun?
You see, Biden forgets we live in the digital age and receipts are incredibly easy to come by. So when you say things like this.
So to gun owners out there who say, well, a Biden administration means they're going to come for my guns.
Bingo. You're right if you have an assault weapon. The fact of the matter is they should be illegal, period.
Or you blatantly say shit like this.
Eliminate assault weapons as being illegal to be sold or owned in the United States.
Not to mention, Biden just told us that if he's elected, the same guy who said this.
Hell yes, we're going to take your AR-15, your AK-47.
Is going to be the guy that Biden appoints to lead the effort on gun control.
I'm going to guarantee you this is not last year's scene of this guy. You're going to take care of the gun problem with me. You're going to be the one that leads this effort. I'm counting on you. I'm counting on you. We need you badly. The state needs you. The country needs you. You're the best. Thank you.
The only person who is full of shit is Biden. Biden saying he supports the Second Amendment because he's okay with shotguns is like saying segregated busing is separate but equal.
This is the same Joe Biden who began his career working with Jesse Helms, a segregationist.
They're going to put you all back in chains.
This is the same Joe Biden who thought he could political Jedi mind trick the country into believing that segregated schools were a good thing because it helped make black kids more aware of their blackness when he said this.
I think the concept of busing, that we are going to integrate people so that they all have the same access and they learn to grow up with one another and all the rest, is a rejection of the whole movement of black pride.
Biden does not support the Second Amendment. What Biden supports are the FUDs of America. A FUD is a person who thinks it's still the 1950s and thinks the only reason anyone should have a gun is for shotgun sports and hunting, neither of which has anything to do with the Second Amendment. FUDs are usually borderline senile and stuck in the 1950s, and as a result, hate semi-automatic handguns and rifles much the same way they hate the internet and anything digital.
You don't need an AR-15. It's harder to aim, it's harder to use, and in fact, you don't need 30 rounds to protect yourself. Buy a shotgun. Buy a shotgun.
So when Biden says he supports the Second Amendment, what he's really saying is, y'all can have all the useless sporting shotguns y'all want, but the only people who should have guns that can be used to fight a government are the people we, the government, have under our control, which is, you guessed it, the military.
Recent events illustrate again and with chilling vividness the tragedy that results from the wide and easy availability of guns with firepower that overwhelms our police.
The same standing army our founding fathers feared and wanted to guard against in the event the government became tyrannical. Hence, the Second Amendment. Not hunting, not sports, but tyrannical governments. Biden doesn't want to ban the AR-15 because it will save lives. He wants to ban them because he doesn't want them in the hands of people he and the government can't control, which would be you and I. And the absolute last thing they want is a veteran who was once under their control as a soldier, now free as a civilian with a gun remotely similar to the one they gave them when they were under their control. And we're not even talking about the same gun. Again, at the end of the day, it is not about saving lives. It is about controlling lives. Oh, and can we stop with the false equivalent of comparing not being able to yell fire to the banning of the most popular rifle in America? If you yell fire in a crowded movie theater and there's no fire, you go to jail. When you use an AR-15 to murder someone, you go to jail. The First Amendment equivalent of banning AR-15s would be putting a muzzle on everyone going into the movie theater so that they can't talk at all in order to prevent someone from yelling fire when there's no fire. However, the law doesn't say you can never yell fire when there's actually a fire, but if you physically muzzle people from speaking, they can't yell fire when there's actually a fire. The same way the American people can't fully exercise their Second Amendment rights when you ban the most popular rifle in the country. Joe Biden has demonstrated on countless occasions that his memory is slipping something serious. Not to mention him just not knowing what he's talking about half the time, mumbling his way through unintelligible soliloquies of fragmented thoughts. There's no such thing as an AR-14. Now, I get it. Clearly, he was talking about an AR-15. But come on, man. You're talking about banning these things and you can't even get the name correct? Not to mention, in response to someone claiming he wants to take away our guns, he says, only the AR-14? That's still taking away our guns. The AR-15 is the most popular semi-automatic rifle in the country. That's like saying, I'm not banning your First Amendment right. You just can't use the internet to exercise it. Then they have the audacity to say that it's false news when I say Biden is gonna take your guns. Unless the definition of ban has changed in the last 20 years, banning the sale and ownership of AR-15s is literally taking my guns. Do you think we're stupid? He literally says this in interviews.
So to gun owners out there who say, well, a Biden administration means they're gonna come for my guns.
Bingo, you're right if you have an assault weapon.
The days of letting these politicians get away with soft words so as to fool the masses that their intent is not to restrict the Second Amendment into oblivion are over. It's time for people to wake up. Right now, there's a culture war against the Second Amendment, which is why I need your help spreading our message to counter their message. You can do this by leaving a comment, sharing this video, and click the bell and subscribe button. Let my voice be your voice, and let them know you want to keep America tactical. Because the right to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed wasn't a suggestion, it was a directive. Also, if you're wondering where to get your I will not comply, I lost all of my guns in a boating accident, the AR-15 is protected by the Second Amendment, and your state-specific Keep America Tactical shirts, click the links in the description section of this video.